going on, Jerome's? So, yes, the end game goal is hoisting that Jerome Barty un time in our lifetimes. Well, a dozen times in the next 10 years. And with the Vikings and the Wilfs, yes, I do believe that the Wilfs want to win championships. It's not like the poll ads were just like, Yeah, I mean, that's an argument for another day. But how close are the Vikings to winning a Super Bowl? And over at Move the Sticks podcast, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, they're doing a really fun exercise, and they're going through and they're assessing the championship foundations of all 32 teams in the league. And what they broke it down to is that basically there's 12 key spots: quarterback, a trio of offensive playmakers, offensive line, pass rushers, and the defensive playmakers. And you need to have some good footing, some good foundations at those 12 to have a shot at a Super Bowl. And they went through and assessed blue chip prospects, or not prospect, but blue chip players, absolute elite, tier 1, meat-eating son of a guns, right? Green is good. Just means good. Yellow, so yellow means slow down or go faster. I don't know. I don't know the traffic lights anymore because Asian driver. But yellow, concerns because age, injury, contracts, etc. And then pink is unproven and young. So just for example, they did up the Bengals and the Ravens. So with the Bengals, I mean, yeah, you got blue chip pieces in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, as well as Trey Hendrickson. I feel like Trey Hendrickson is massively underrated, man. Anyways, but you look at the rest. So T. Higgins, he would be considered good, but yellow because of contract. Joe Mixon, contract as well as age. And then 3 good pieces along the offensive line. Again, not great, not elite, but Orlando Brown Jr., Alex Kappa, as well as Ted Karras. So, I mean, they're decent offensively. Now, could they get a little bit better? Could they get Brock Bowers as an offensive playmaker? Could they have a facelift in the running back room as well? Yes. Defensively, so Hendrickson is elite. Sam Hubbard, B.J. Hill, pretty damn good in terms of the pass rushing department. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, defensive playmaker. Yeah, I'd say that they're good. Pratt could be a contract issue, though. Then Cameron Taylor-Britt, the pride of Nebraska, DJ Turner II out of Michigan, young and unproven. So there's some question marks on Lou Anaramo's defense with a lot of young guys up there. Baltimore, so blue chip pieces in Lamar, Mark Andrews, as well as Justin Madubuike. We'll see if he leaves or if he's franchise tagged. Kyle Hamilton. Oh, do Vikings fans know about Kyle Hamilton? As well as Roquan, stud. Then Tyler Linderbaum. Hey, did you know that the Vikings should not take Tyler Linderbaum because he's undersized and Garrett Bradbury is undersized, and that means that all undersized centers are bad because all undersized centers don't play with leverage like Garrett Bradbury? Zay Flowers is good. Stanley good. Humphrey, Marcus Williams. I mean, if this was a little bit earlier, Humphrey would be considered elite. So again, just going through the color coding scheme: blue chip, blue, green, good, yellow, some concerns, and pink, young, unproven. And for the Vikings are interesting. So offensively, I would put Kirk Cousins as good. And even though, yes, we are a bit of a Kirk Cousins stan or accused of, but we just call a spade a spade. Kirk Cousins has been very good over the last couple of years. Now, is he elite? Is he a guy that you can win a Super Bowl because of? Not ready to go that far. I know. One playoff win in 6 years. Fully understand, right? But with Kirk, I feel like he is good, but also don't let good be the enemy of great. That's where we're currently at. And also Kirk has an asterisk because he has contract issues. Jefferson is elite, pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy there. Oh, I will say, so you say that Kirk is blah, blah, blah bad, but Kirk was leading the league in touchdown passes when he popped his Achilles with 18. He was second in passing yards behind Tua, and also he was top 5 in quarterback rating with 103.8, which is pretty good. It's pretty good considering all the drops, all the fumbles, and the Vikings 0-3, 1-4. Not necessarily on him, but so quarterback wins is a thing when the Vikings are losing, but when the Vikings win 13 games and Kirk Cousins ties the NFL record for 8 come from behind game-winning drives in the fourth quarter and overtime, team game. It's weird how it only cuts in one direction, but JJ obviously is elite. Not really much else to say. Addison, I would put in the very good category. I think that he can quickly become blue chip. So Addison. Last year, 70 catches for 911 yards and 10 touchdowns on 108 targets. Second on the team in targets behind Hawkinson. And What's amazing is that Addison was still putting up numbers with backup quarterbacks, with Nick Mullins, with the Passionate, with Jaron Hall. So Addison did all that with 4 quarterbacks. I mean, Puka Nacua, respect to what he did, but Stafford had himself a damn fine season. Stafford was a finalist for Comeback Player of the Year, and for good reason. But, I mean, Addison is going to be beautiful. He's going to be gorgeous with Justin friggin' Jefferson. And the Vikings, once Hawkinson's knee gets right, they may have the freaking triumvirate, man. Like we're talking about Lepidus, Mark Anthony, and Augustus. Well, Octavian then, but then became Augustus after he defeated Mark Anthony. Anyways, but yeah, the Vikings could have the freaking trident of playmakers there. And Hawkinson, top 3 tight end, and he's not 3 once that knee gets good to go. He was on pace for a 100-catch, 1,000-yard season last year before Kirby Joseph. Offensive line-wise, so Darrisaw, I want to say is blue chip. I think that he's borderline blue chip, but we just got to see it health-wise. I mean, he hasn't played a full season during his first 3 years in the NFL. O'Neal probably could be considered blue chip, but also I almost put him as a yellow because I think there are concerns. He was dinged up last year. He had the Achilles 2 years ago. Also, his play last season, which just wasn't great. 33 pressures, 6 sacks, 3 penalties. Now, part of that could be on the fact that the Vikings were without Kirk for half a year. So, processing speed of backup quarterbacks sometimes isn't great, and sometimes the offensive line gets punished if a quarterback, isn't feeling the pressure in the pocket or, has a slow internal clock and doesn't get rid of the ball. And the offensive line gets dinged for that. Bradbury, I almost put Reisner in here. Reisner's also a free agent, but, Bradbury in this spot, like, you have to respect that he's gotten off the mat from one of the worst centers in the league, the worst in his first 3 seasons, and he's crawled into the top 10, top 12 center conversation. But I just still have such great disdain when he's bench pressed straight into either Kirk's lap or the running back's lap, and it's just tough, man. But he's top 10, top 12-ish center. Chris Cooper and company have done a good job. 22 pressures, 3 sacks last year, and I don't know, man. Defensively, so there's a couple concerns here. So number one, your top 2 pass rushers are both free agents, and Daniil and or Wanham may not be back. Also, in terms of defensive playmakers, your 5, 2 pass rushers, 3 defensive playmakers. There isn't a single signed defensive lineman among them. And if you consider Hunter and Wanham as outside linebackers, there isn't a single defensive lineman in these 5. So that is a major concern there. But Daniil is obviously elite blue chip, whatever, 16.5 sacks, tied for the league lead in tackles for loss, plays the run, plays both sides, can be stand up, hand in the dirt, all that stuff. So Daniil's elite. Bring Daniil back, you idiots. DJ Wanham quietly has been very productive as a backup and tertiary pass rusher. Last year he had 8 sacks. He had, stepped in because Marcus Davenport was whatever. Also stepped up nicely in 2021 when Daniil was hurt, and also 2022 intermittently when Zadarius Smith was dinged up. So, I mean, Wanham had 8 sacks last year. He's at 20 sacks in the last 3 seasons. So quietly he's been very productive, plays the run well, had a scoop and score last season as well. And I would be down to clown it if Wanham is back on a reasonable contract. Then 3 defensive playmakers. I put Pace, Metellus, and Beasley all in the good category. And also, I think eventually, they could scale into the blue chip territory, especially Pace Jr. Pace Jr., UDFA came in. Basically, it wouldn't shock me at all if he ends up being a team captain next year, especially if Hicks is not back. But 102 tackles, 2.5 sacks, a pick, 2 passes broken up, a forced fumble. And also, we're just scratching the surface on him as a pass rusher. I think that in short order, Pace Jr. will be seen as one of the more elite off-ball linebackers in the game. And then Metellus and Beasley, they may have benefited the most in terms of the shift to the Flores scheme because, I mean, Metellus was a utility backup with Zimmer and also with Donachel. Bynum didn't have a good year in 2022 in the Donachel scheme, but both of them turned into absolute nail drivers in the Flores defense, man. Metellus, 116 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 5 passes broken up, 4 forced fumbles, and a pick. And both of them were in the top 10 of PFF rankings at safety. And frankly, Metellus probably should have been a Pro Bowler. Absolutely. And Beasley led the team in tackles with 137. Actually, Bynum led the team in tackles. Metellus was 2. in terms of tackle. So that's how much they're mixing it up. But BZ, 9 passes broken up, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions as well. And these guys are just simply growing and showing in this defense. But like we said, the major concern is, in terms of your top 5 guys on defense, there isn't a single defensive lineman. Like no 4-tech, 5-techs, no nose tackles, and that's something that certainly does have to change. Also, no cornerbacks. So, I mean, Blackman could push his way in there, sure. And also, if the Vikings do sign Xavier Howard, if and when he's cut by the Dolphins. But either way, the Vikings do have some opportunities to grow here. And frankly, I mean, defense, yes, the wheels fell off towards the end of last season. Injuries caught up with them. But I think Flores, with better roster personnel, is going to do great things, whether Daniil is here or not. And offensively, I mean, even if Kirk is gone, and even if it's rookie TBD, it's sort of a, take a step back to take a leap forward, where I think that we talked about this. I think with Kevin O'Connell in place here, I think that this is a great incubator for a young quarterback. I think that he's got weapons and protection, and also, if the Vikings can get that running game going, that will certainly be his best friend. So we'll see what happens there. But in terms of their championship pedigree and championship foundation, I understand like we're the Homer account out there, but I feel like the Vikings are not as far away as people think. And if Kirk didn't get hurt last year, and not even talk about Jefferson, just simply Kirk. If Kirk did not get hurt, the Lions don't run away with the division. Frankly, I think the Vikings have a very good shot at winning said division and making some noise in the playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Take a look at the Vikings Championship Foundation. You guys know what to do. Skol, production value.